Hello, everybody. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the accessory structures of the eye. We've already gone over some of the internal structures. We had those fibrous layer, the vascular layer, and the neural layer, or the retina. Now we're going to talk about some external structures. So these structures help protect and clean the eye. We are talking about the eyelids, okay? So we have an upper eyelid and a lower eyelid, and we are dealing with the anterior side of the body, okay? So you can see the eyelids, they kind of sit on the sclera, and then when we blink, they come and cover the cornea. So we are on the most anterior portion. Now, eyelids are also called palpebra, okay? So these palpebra have some other structures, okay? So here is the anterior side of the palpebra or the eyelid. Now we're going to be looking on the posterior side. So we're looking right over here, okay? So let me just get rid of that for a moment though. All right, so on the posterior side of the eyelid, you have what's called conjunctiva, okay? And this is a thin epithelial membrane, all right? And first, you have the palpebra conjunctiva. And I know that's a little confusing because the entire eyelid is called a palpebra, but now you have specifically a palpebra conjunctiva, okay? And that is because this specific conjunctiva is touching the actual eyelid, okay? So see, it runs right along directly on the posterior side, okay? But then it kind of does a little loop and it comes down the actual sclera. And when it does that, I'm gonna switch colors. When it comes back down and kind of makes a pocket and comes and touches the actual sclera, the actual eye, the anterior portion of the eye, it becomes the bulbar conjunctiva. Oops. Okay. So, two different types of conjunctiva. They kind of just make like a little loop. Okay. So here you would have the palpebral conjunctiva and then the bulbar conjunctiva. Okay. And this would be the eye, and this would be, eyelashes. Okay. All right. So those conjunctiva and the palpebra, right, they are helping, clean the eye, preventing foreign objects from entering. But they also distribute tears, okay, which helps clean. So when we blink, they're not actual tears, like we're crying, but there is a liquid that helps keep the cornea, helps your eyes from drying out, okay? And so that is all being created down here in what we call the lacrimal apparatus, all right? So all of these structures make up the lacrimal apparatus. But I think the most important one that we should touch on is the lacrimal gland, all right? So the lacrimal gland is on the lateral side of your body, on both sides, okay? Both lateral sides. It actually will produce the tears and the mucus, and it will, release it. There are ducts that kind of swoop into and around the eye and come into, different canals. Okay. So the tears and mucus can either be distributed, just kind of across the eyelid, or they can come down the canal and, exit through the nasal cavity. Okay. If they are going to the eye, they are secreted through what's called the lacrimal punctum. All right. So there is a little tiny hole right here. And everybody has it. Everybody can go look in the mirror and you'll see a tiny little hole. And that's your lacrimal punctum. And that is how The tears are secreted when we're crying, but also just when we're blinking to keep the eyes moist and not drying out. All right.